Look, I fucked up. I'm sorry. Let's just dive straight into it. I made a bad trailer, is I think what it comes down to. And it has led to, if we take a look at, let me find it here, my potential, oh God, I have too many tabs open. Oh, did I close? No, it has led to this. The worst received thing, basically the worst received video we've ever made in our entire YouTube channel. The comments on this one are absolutely brutal. Let me also quickly just pop in chat as well and then keep talking about it. No, not this one. And it's been bugging me. I basically didn't sleep all night, or like I slept until 2, and then at 2 these videos came out, and then I woke up a little bit later and I just saw all of these comments, and it's just like, what do I do? I have been going through a lot of thoughts, going through a lot of everything today. I was like, oh, should I just like stop and like, you know, take a week off? Guess this is bad. Everyone seemingly hates me on all of these comments. We've got people canceling our Patreon. We're like, hey, for the love of God, focus on overtime Anomaly, not whatever this is. People really fucking hate Magical Girl Guardians. And I was like, okay, look, just disappearing is not gonna solve this. Like any good relationship that I have with you, our audience, we need to talk about this. I think that's the only way we can kind of go through it. I didn't expect this. Nobody at BiteMe kind of expected this. When we went into the BiteMe Game Awards, which was, oh, maybe I should explain that for people because it honestly didn't perform as well. We hosted our own little award show with a whole bunch of categories yesterday, where we wanted to celebrate the games that our audience made. And in there, we were like, hey, what do awards those do? Like, what are they known for? They often announce their upcoming games. So we figured, hey, this is a good spot for us to, as you can see here,
so
let me
maybe I shouldn't tease you guys.
pull up, like,
let's take a first look at the world premiere of the trailer of our next.
Like, we announced our next upcoming game, Magical Girl Guardians. It's something that I've been making these streams about, doing like the level design and all of that before. And the concept is relatively simple. So it's a survivor-like, but we're different in kind of a few aspects. First of all, it's a 4 player co-op game in 3D. There's not that many survivor-likes that are 1 to 4 player co-op. There's only one really, and that's this one, Spell Brigade. But I still think that, you know, we can do better. We can add our own thing to it as well. So what we're doing is we're adding a twin stick aspect to it as well. So we've got actual because, you know, making a survivor-like with the amount of network syncing, it's not super easy, and props for Thomas for that. The mechanics for this game were really good, and we went into the BiteMe Game Awards with the idea of, okay, Magical Girl Guardians, it's going to be like relatively good like reception, because we've talked about it before. It's not the first time we showed that game on stream, basically. We've done level design streams, and sure, first to say, the art definitely isn't fully there yet. People look at this and are immediately like, oh, this is incohesive, oh, you have no art direction. It's stuff that I've always heard. And what I was so shocked about when you look at all of these comments is these comments were worse by far compared to the video we made about how much did Forge Industry make, where, okay, sure, we have these guys like, yeah, your game didn't sell because it's restful. The thing is, the people who saw this video and the people who left shit comments and like, hey, your game is ugly, you should reconsider everything, what are you doing here? The people who have the comments here, they were people, this video went past BiteMe games. These were not people who cared about BiteMe games. These were not people who knew about BiteMe games. I know, for example, Tailhammer, you were like, I know you. I've talked to you, and it feels very weird then suddenly to have what I thought was that really close community and that we had something together almost kind of explode in my face. And that was the thing that also really I didn't really like as much. Like these comments like, yikes, these are not dramatifications. This game really didn't appeal. And I think part of it definitely, like I said, comes down to the trailer. So this is the trailer. I made this Wednesday. Last Wednesday, because we were like on Tuesday, I did like the 7.5 hour level design live stream because I had to make a trailer for the BiteMe Games Awards, which was on Friday, but there was not enough game yet. Back then, like if you look at the start of the stream, I wouldn't have been able to make this trailer anywhere near because there's a lot of areas in this trailer that I had to make during that single live stream. Though this live stream or this trailer, I wasn't happy with this, or like I wasn't amazed by it. I knew I could have done better, but it's also a matter of you have to see what is the stuff that we're working with, and that was kind of the thing. I'm going to do a full breakdown of why this trailer isn't good, and I'm also going to be breaking down the other trailer for the other game we announced, Overtime Anomaly, in one of our upcoming trailer roast live streams. That's not the goal here. I know that this trailer wasn't good. I was working with, like, this is the thing I said as well, garbage in is garbage out, is what it comes to with trailers. And this game, if you ask me, we have been putting a lot of time and passion into it. It's not garbage, but yeah, sure. We weren't using consistent shading styles and things like that throughout our level because we were so nailed down on, okay, the gameplay has to be fun. We truly enjoy the gameplay here at BiteMe Games. So that's why we had so much faith coming in, because we knew like, oh, this gameplay loop is really solid. It's really nice already. We love playing it. So we are gonna put it in here because we at BiteMe, we had a lot of faith in it. And this is a kind of funny thing as well. It's like people often, when I make a video and I say about like, hey, most important thing about your game is visuals. And then I get all of these keyboard warriors who are like, hey, no, actually, you need to have good gameplay mechanics. And it will always trump having a pretty game. But then we make a game that has pretty mechanics and people are like, this game is dog shit, go and kill yourself. Going back to some of these things, it's like, looks like an asset flip and things like that. And definitely, I understand partially that why you think it's an asset flip. I don't think it's an asset flip. We're adding a lot of unique mechanics in here. But what makes it stand out as an asset flip is that, as you can see, for example, not everything like the tree versus the rock versus the taiyaki stand versus this like lantern and then the enemies and the characters, they don't fully match. 100% agree with you. Once again, our shading, this was on us. We hadn't fully nailed all of that down. But then, the funny part is, okay, you can call this an asset flip. I don't mind. Okay, like I do mind. It does hurt me a little bit, all the content and then all of the people who are like, hey, I respond to something. It's like, makes me mildly dislike you. And then it's like, okay, here. Fine, problem solved. But, oh, I didn't want to reload it. But this difference was the thing that really struck me, because we announced a second game yesterday, Overtime Anomaly, which was kind of a, it came out of nowhere. Nobody saw this coming. Even I didn't see this coming 2 weeks ago. If you've been around with BiteMe Games for a while, you may remember that first we were working on Guild Architect, but that game has been long cancelled. And then after we released Unicycle Pizza Time, we were like, okay, we want to make something else. But we realized that, hey, we can't put two developers, Thomas and William, both on that same game. What we decided to do then is, okay, we split up. I work on both games. So I help Thomas with Magical Girl Guardians, and I help William with the game that he's working on as well. I can make myself bigger again. William was going to work on a city builder kind of game. We had a cozy city builder kind of game planned. I'm gonna make a video, I think now Tuesday. I still had to record it. I wanted to record it, but my mind just hasn't been on it because I was just too like drained from everything that happened about what we learned, why we canceled it. Okay, we canceled the game because we kind of ran into some scope issues. We ran into a whole bunch of issues. So we were like, okay, we need something new. And then we came across this idea. I'm gonna tell you something, guys. I'm gonna leak it. 1980s office. I was just going through the Unity Asset Store. Am I gonna find it? Probably because I already bought it. Wait, let me quickly log in. Everything in that game. This is the ironic thing. This is in every regard 10 times as much of an asset flip as Magical Girl Guardians. Yet the comments on this, if my Firefox wants to load, thank you very much. Come on. Oh. It's like so 180. It's like, okay, good stuff. Yeah, whatever. Thank you, Seamus. You're in chat here. Instant hit. Looks very interesting. Instant hit. Looks much better than the previous one. I suppose this is A/B testing to figure out which one of the two is worth. That was not the goal. We're actually planning on making two good games. Much better. This is so much more positively reviewed, this game. We'll have to see. It's too early to see wishlist numbers. That's like the final number where we really kind of want to look at, okay, what is the general perception? This game is in all aspects, like I said, an asset flip. I'll pull up the trailer here as well. So you can see here, we have like these bars. This kind of looks like how much is going on, right? This is the one for Overtime Anomaly. This trailer is, I think, generally a lot better as well. Definitely helps. Oh my. But all of the sound effects that you hear and that you see in this trailer, it's kind of just added on. This is none of this game. The only gameplay sound that we had is footsteps. Shots like these, for example, entering the elevator. This is just me walking around the demo scene of the asset that we had. The one good thing, like, this is just an FPS controller in the demo scene at the end of the day. And the only like custom things we made is like this clipboard, the fax refill, and then the phone. Because like I said, this game only started development about 10 days ago. 10 days we had from coming up with the idea, we didn't even know what we wanted, to fuck, we need to announce something during the BiteMe Game Awards. And I think, well, definitely Overtime Anomaly is the game that people really are hyped for, or at least the game that generally has a lot more of an interest. And there's a bunch of things as well that you have to keep in mind here. One thing that's... So like I said, it's the two parts. The first of all is people calling our games asset flips. And it's like, also, did you not learn from Unicycle Pizza Time? Because that game, at the end of the day, also an asset flip, if you look at it purely objectively. We bought the Unicycle as an asset, and then this city is also just one big asset, and we downloaded every single free PBR thing. I think this is a video that I scripted today as well. Asset flips aren't bad. It is, like we learned now, throwing things together that makes it look more incohesive, but I wouldn't say asset flips are bad. People look at, like, people are very quick to say like, oh, asset flip, horrible, whilst, hey, this has been going on really well. This is actually something else that was one of the reasons that I kind of wanted, like, why I felt so shit is I don't know how I should have felt from the past 24 hours, basically. Because like I said, we had the BiteMe Game Awards. This was definitely a pretty nice show. It didn't get like the massive views we planned for, unfortunately. But it's like, hey, first time we're doing these events, we have to figure out our audience when it comes to these live things. Like, we're pulling in more viewers right now. More people are watching the drama about the BiteMe Games Awards and the announcements with it than the actual show. Which is like, okay, this is the nature of YouTube. But then I also I was on a high because this happened also a few days ago. Unicycle Pizza Time suddenly got a giant boost. 1.1 million views, 226k views. We made $662 in a single day. And this is stuff that should make you feel ecstatic, right? I was happy until 2 a.m. this night when the trailer for Magical Girl Guardians gave live. And suddenly, like, you can see these red things is people who subscribe to us. It means like these guys have been following us for multiple months, like over a year. And it's like, people are just like, this is bad. Like, make something else. And that is kind of what I'm struggling with now as well. We're not canceling this game. I had a talk with Thomas about it this day. I think there's also some differences that now we're starting to see. Our audience of the YouTube channel and our audience for our games. That is at the end of the day what also happened with Unicycle Pizza Time. When we first announced this game, honestly, I was looking back. The trailer has performed pretty good as well, 96% as well. But a lot of people were very skeptical of Unicycle Pizza Time because that was our first entry into what a lot of people say slop and whatever. It's like, oh, you just asset flip, shit it out in a month. But guys, 110 reviews, very positive, 87% ratings. This is not a bad game. This is honestly a really solid performance already. If we go back here, it's like, okay, this is like, I think we made 14k gross revenue total on Unicycle Pizza Time. Those are good numbers for asset flips. And I think that is now the point where I have to understand that, okay, our audience is good for certain parts of noticing, hey, do these ideas have potential? But I think with Magical Girl Guardians, we're making a game that is so different from what our audience kind of expects and all of that, that I don't know how much, like, yeah, the comments of the art direction and things like that, I'm fine with that. It's an announcement trail. The game isn't out yet. If we're releasing this game today, yeah, absolutely. All of the hate we get is completely deserved. But it feels really weird, I think, when we have a gameplay-focused game where, you know, it's a really tight gameplay loop that we, like I said, really enjoy, to immediately kind of kill it already. Yeah, Thomas is also in chat talking about the shaders. He's working on that as we speak right now because, yeah, you're correct. Not everything is perfect about this game. Like, also one thing that I really wanted to do, but once again, this is what you learn from Crunch. You can't do everything. I don't like the UI in this game. No, I don't want to put it louder. But like, things like the card upgrades, I think look really bad. I don't think these look great. Once again, we're working with the things we have, and at the end of the day, I think that is the lesson that I've talked about way before on this channel, is shipped is better than perfect. And in this case, it's not shipping a game, but it's having a trailer. We could have spent multiple more months like waiting on this, but at some point we kind of want to release, because, you know, this helps the $600 and whatever, but it's not going to be the thing that supports us. We need to make more games and whatever. And I think all of that is just kind of a... I just wanted to talk about this. I've somewhat been looking at chat, not fully, but I just want to give you a bit more feedback of what I am coming from, basically. Why is this so weird to me when the game that's, like I said, Overtime Anomaly... oh, another one. I don't think anyone or no one has called us out on this. Overtime Anomaly is by far more of a slop trailer, this trailer, because of the fact that we are still using, I'm gonna say hot take, this one, the trailer that people really enjoyed, uses AI voice acting, because we wanted to have our voice actor for Unicycle Pizza Time. We had sent him an email like, hey, we really liked your work. But unfortunately, he was busy because, hey, voice actors, they have other things to do in their life. And like I said, we had 10 days between this game idea coming to life and then the BiteMe Game Awards. So we had just samples of 11 laps, and then we threw some post-processing on it. We're planning, of course, for the full game to do it with that voice actor, but you can't do these kinds of things in 7 days. And this makes it so much weirder when people are like, oh my god, asset flip, whatever, when the game that is just a demo scene, I'm signed in, so I think if I just look up, or maybe I should just look up 80s Office, no, not 180s Office. Here, this is the asset, this is the demo scene, like I think you can, come on Unity, like, Jesus Christ. Where's my Overtime Anomaly? You see this, oh, I'm blocking it. You see this scene, right? That's basically the same, but just in art. Like, I know that this is in all regards right now more of an asset flip. We're planning on changing that, obviously, but I think we got a great vibe check, and I think this is a good thing in general to learn from, to see like, hey, how does your audience react? Because we honestly didn't expect Overtime Anomaly to be this good, so this is really nice. People are like, yeah, the concept is super interesting. I'm like, is it? Because this feels almost like we have some cooler new stuff planned as well. It's not just an Exit A thing where you go around the corners. We want to make it better, but this is right now, I think, yeah, as you can see on like all the other screenshots, like, yeah, this is that same area again. Do we have more of like, yeah, this is like final scene in the trailer. It's just this room, for example. It has no meaning, but I was like, I just want to tie it to the music. I don't know what this scene is supposed to mean, honestly. So I think what you should take away from this is, I guess, how important it is to make trailers and all of that, because I didn't expect Overtime Anomaly to perform anywhere near as good. Of course, now that it has, we can do a lot more with it, and we're still going to... Like, we weren't planning on making a bad game if this didn't get the... attention. Feels interesting because it doesn't seem like you're just YOLOing it. Yeah, that's the fun thing, Proxy Duck. It is a YOLO. It is kind of like what we did with Unicycle Pizza Time, where on like snap decision, in a few days, we took something, like we had this weird idea of like, hey, what if we take this asset, for example, and we made a basic game for it. And we did something similar with Unicycle Pizza Time. And those are the things that apparently people like more than the game that, hey, Thomas and I, we put our heart and soul into it. And yeah, sure, the art isn't amazing. And that's kind of the entire vibe here. Honestly, the voiceover in Anomaly game sounds great. No, you can definitely tell that is AI voice acting. I don't personally enjoy it. Like, I don't like it. I don't want it. So I would do something like that. Why would you cancel? Because of some comments? Yeah, so Axel Stream, definitely, we're not canceling, but it's still, these things suck, like I said. These things hurt me personally as well, and it's part of the YouTube thing, but it's like, yeah, like, it looks like cheap mobile asset flip games. Like, it hurts. It just hurts in the meow meow, like Thomas says. I don't know where he said that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about this. And people are like, hey, yeah, you need an artist. Guys, if we want an artist, we need money. But we can't make money if we don't make games. And that's kind of the whole problem. Unfortunately, nobody took me up on my offer for $20 hand jobs around the corner in my local town. So we just keep making the games. I think one more thing as well that Thomas really says about Magical Girl Guardians, and it is that something that you have to consider as well. Our audience, on average, is like a 35-year-old white male, and I think half of them are Republican and half of them are Democrat. So that's like half of our audience already. If you tell them magical girls and anime and all of that, they're disgusted by it. And that's fine. Games are not for everyone. A lot of our audience doesn't like Unicycle Pizza Time. But I think at some point it also comes down to, hey, understanding the difference between our YouTube audience and understanding the difference between your player audience. You can make games that are focused, like this is something that a lot of horror games as well do, like the Skibidi Toilet. Skibidi games sell really well, but a lot of developers are like, oh my god, Skibidi games are pure brain rot, but it's brain rot that sells. And I think that is another thing that you kind of have to disassociate the work you do versus like the art side of game dev. People are like, hey, game dev is like, game dev, there's two approaches. You have game dev as a hobbyist, where you don't have to care about wishlists. You don't have to care about how many people play your game. That's kind of why we have that niche but neat category as well in the BiteMe Games Award, where it's games that are super niche and probably not that many people will play it, but it's a game that you want to make. And you can do it because you have a day job and you don't have any of that other stuff planned. We kind of have to make money at certain points as well. And then it comes down to, okay, where do we find that intersect of, hey, these are the games that we really want to make. Like we wanted to make a survival, like we wanted to make a horror game. And these are the things that an audience actually wants as well at the end of the day. Unicycle Pizza Time, 1.17 million views. There's an audience for this style of game, whether it's for watching or for playing. Because like also, yeah, what is this? 180 units in 24 hours. And the day before that, we even sold like another $300. And to a lot of our audience, I have to be honest, like, you probably don't want to say it out loud, but you think Unicycle Pizza Time is a garbage game and you can do so much better, yet your game is stuck at 4 reviews for some reason. It's part of the business side of game dev at the end of the day. If you make a game purely for art and you put it on Steam and you don't market it, yeah, of course, absolutely, make whatever you want. But I think you need to not just think about what you like, but think about what your audience likes. I hope I haven't offended literally everyone who is watching this. But yeah, I think I've learned a lot in it. At the end of the day, also, one of the reasons I also realized that I had to make this stream is because my grandma, I went to visit her, and she was like, what did you do? You got a lot of hate comments. She doesn't speak English, by the way. She somehow could learn enough English to watch the Bite Me Game Wars and read the comments and understand that you guys did not like what we make. So at that point, I have to do something about that, unfortunately. And I hope you understand that, hey guys, Magical Girl Guardians, we don't want to do on purpose slop content and all of that. What we have learned now as well, me and Thomas, what we talked about earlier today when we were like having our little emergency war room meeting, is we need to get a playtest out for this game sooner rather than later. Because yeah, sure, the visuals aren't fully there, but I swear to God, if you get like 2 people, 4 people, or even solo into this game, you're going to love it. The gameplay loop is really addicting. That's one of the things I also talked about. It's right now, if you go to Reddit, oh man, this is a wild side tangent. Give me 1 second. Right now, the number 2 post of the week is one that's... Oh, why am I on the Ludwig subreddit? I don't want to be here. Let me find it. Top of the past week. Top of this week. It's like, okay, number 1, whatever. And here, the Peter Mello 3 days ago. My game is not fun yet. How I discovered it. Right now, it's the number 2 top of week, 1.2k upvotes. I was watching Bite Me Game stream. Marnix was working on a train mechanic and was testing it by playing through the game. And then he was like, hey, yeah, why aren't you not making yourself invincible? And I talk about, hey, the gameplay loop is really good because we don't use those cheat codes, because we actually played the game so much at this point. It's not just engine time. And all of this is to say, trust us. The one good thing right now, and I said Thomas this as well, is the glow up. If we upgrade from Magical Girl Guardians, like the announcement trailer, to the actual like gameplay trailer or whatever, is going to be so amazing. Yeah, say Felix, a demo is a must, I think. It's going to be good. Most likely. What's going to be the price of it? Like $6.99, I think we have right now. It's not set, but we definitely want to keep it kind of lower priced as well, because once again, it's co-op games. It's like Magical Girl Guardian started as a small scope game. because that's what all our games start as. But Magical Girl Guardians has definitely grown because, you know, there's a lot of content if you make a survivor-like. Post a tiny small scope. So $6.99 is right now the price that we're aiming at. And I think Thomas can live with that. I can live with that. Maybe go up or down by $1, but that's it. Controller Sports as well. You share that opinion. I can see Magical Girls Guardians outselling UPT. Thomas has that as well. Thomas, and I also believe this, is dead set on the fact that this has what he calls normie appeal. Also, why did I downvote this? Okay. This game is something that will go beyond BiteMe Games' audience, hopefully. And I genuinely hope it does, because we kind of need some W's. I can't just rely on Patreon and AdSense and all of that. And I don't need to do a wishlist promo, because if you don't like this game, you don't like this game. If you don't like, I also got comments like, what is this music? Like, this is very much a Zoomer game. I understand that once again, if you're used to playing 4X games, this is not gonna be for you. If you're used to playing strategy games, that's fine. It's just the harshness of those comments. Jesus Christ. Yeah, thank you, SV Drexler. I know the feeling of negative community feedback, but help me with sticking to my own vision and keep working on that. That's what we're gonna keep doing now as well. And we're gonna prove you wrong, because we genuinely believe that this game is gonna be good. So I just wanted to address that a little bit. I hope you don't judge too much. Know that, like, one thing as well, I recognize all of these names, every single comment, because I can see they've commented before. I'm really good at remembering the names and profile pictures. I don't know how to feel about all of them. I also get people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna cancel my Patreon game because you're making a pervy porn game because you have boobs. And I'm like, what am I supposed to say to that? At the end of the day, maybe something else to consider is that I'm almost used to, I don't know, what I've learned is at the end of the day, a certain percentage of our audience is going to be flat earthers. And no matter what I try to do, no matter what I say in this live stream of, hey, trust us guys, we're going to make this good, the gameplay is really solid and whatever, there will be people who will always hate whatever I say, even though they keep watching us. So this is not supposed to be a boob game, but because of that, it is like, okay, let's just take a step back. I still have some core people. Like, I don't need to have only hype men. I don't need to have only yes men. There's a lot of valuable feedback as well. The problem is comments like, oh, what is it here? Like, it's cheap asset mobile for the game. This is not helpful. If you were around in our Discord, we tried to improve this. We asked like some help from artists as well in our Discord. Like, hey, how do we improve this? This is not the final state. We knew that before we announced the game already. So I think, yeah, those are the main things. Yeah, it's like K-pop. I don't like it, but there's a gargantuan audience for it. Yeah, I like this game. Hot take, I even think this game looks decent. But if you're a dead set artist,
New 10
you
donation
also
from a
probably,
_0.
like Unicycle Pizza Time, because
Thomas
the lighting
needs more
isn't good.
monsters
And
soon
all of
is
that.
what I'm hearing.
Once again, that's fine. We're gonna keep trucking along. Thank you also, Alessandro. I think Thomas is gonna do more. Why for getting more languages in game? Don't asking help for the community? The Gamer 655. We're probably gonna be doing that soon. The problem is right now, once again, store pages, they're localized. Right now it's AI. It's once again, shipped is better than perfect. Getting these things out. I practice what I preach. When I tell you, hey, get feedback soon, this is probably some of the best feedback that we could get. Can we get a bullet hell version of Unicycle Pizza Time set in Chicago or New Orleans? We could also just put it in Antwerp, honestly. It needs a toon shader. So those are the comments, Tia, for example. This is a toon shader. We're going to be reworking the toon shader, but a lot of these things are already running on LilTool, for example. I think that is one thing a lot of people, and it's something that honestly I had to learn as well. People are often like, oh, you can make things look good with a shader. It's not just press one button in Unity that says like shader or whatever, and then suddenly your game will look good. No, there's more to it than just clicking shader. And thank you very much, Gary, as well, for I will buy both games. I think both games will also be really enjoyable at the end of the day. I have to say, this feels kind of good after Marnik shitting on my game. Oh, it's only gonna get worse, guys, because now, after these comments, I do not care anymore. if I have to deal with this, and then even though we have, I removed the comment of the guy who was like, oh my god, Marnix, you're so quickly offended. Guys, I grew up playing Call of Duty for like from age 12 to 16. You're gonna have to do better than that. It's more unfortunate. Yeah, Guild Architect is not coming out in 2030 either. But yeah, Villain Arc. Yeah, let's start some new game roasting streams. Unlocked evil Marnix. I don't think so, guys. I still want you to help, or like I still want to help you guys. But one more thing, because I was, you know, I was really fucked up and bummed out today. Like I said, I was like, should I do this stream? Am I going to do a massive crash out and all of that? I don't think that has happened. It also made me realize, okay, why are there no good game developers on YouTube? Why do all the good game developers leave? And the answer to that is simply that maybe some of the guys here on the like YouTube channel, or even like some of the people who are watching right now, are kind of assholes. And the more success you have, you will always have people who hate you. And if you're rolling in fat stacks from your previous game successes, honestly, I understand. Today was the day probably the most in 2024 that I considered quitting YouTube. I'm not gonna quit, don't worry. But this was what was supposed to be, like I said, some of the best days, because we did that BiteMe Game Awards. We just did 2 big announcements. We made a whole bunch of money from getting featured with the Smitty and Big Buffer, and we probably have a few more videos in the pipeline. And then suddenly we got all that hate, and that made me like re-question, is all of this worth it, basically? Is there more of a hook than just a reskinned Survivor-like? There is. First of all, there's almost no 1 to 4 player co-op Survivor-likes. That's step 1. Second of all, it's what I don't like about a Survivor-like is how passive it is, how little there is to do. So that's why I integrated, you know, the magical girls with guns. It gives it partially twin stick, so you can just upgrade your own weapons, or you can go the Survivor-like route where you have your mascot, which is like the little floating butterfly or like the little floating dog. If you watch magical girl animes, you know what I mean. That like does things automatically for you. Both of these things are gonna be like delved out, and it's not as common, and especially just the fact that it's 4-player co-op is something that also doesn't really matter. How many minutes for a run? Planning for like 15 to 20 for a good run, and like we're planning the first run you do, like brand new in the game, is gonna be 6 minutes. Kinda. That's the idea we have. So yeah, and don't forget objectives. Yeah, also, because we have that map, one other thing that we didn't like is the fact that a Survivor like a Vampire Survivor is just very open, and we kind of wanted to play more with, hey, what if you're in a city? It changes the dynamics as well. You have to walk around the city, you have to like that was kind of what I said, inspired by like Black Ops Zombies, for example, where you actually have like training your enemies, so you don't just run a giant circle and it's kind of boring because you just have to dodge enemies, but you actually have to navigate through the city. The fact that it's not the final look of the game wasn't stated enough, and people think this trailer is how we'll look at this. Also, is there info about co-op in the trailer? So there is co-op footage in the trailer. Wait, here, right at the drop. I think it's just not obvious enough. Once again, I'll be doing... Oh, I'm gonna switch to Premiere Pro, actually. I'm gonna be doing a full trailer breakdown at some point in the near future. Let me see. Here. Like, here, this is like the co-op thing. It's like, okay, we have our lobby here. And then here you immediately see, okay, we're 2 people. There's a lot of technical issues for us as well right now, because this is a work in progress game. The game kind of dies the more people you add, the more enemies, because our pod finding wasn't optimized, so the host was like very much bottlenecked in performance and all of that. This is game development at the end of the day, guys. We don't just make a magical game, or like, well, magical girl game. A good game doesn't immediately appear, basically. Whereas, yeah, I'm just so confused about, I mean, that's good, but why Overtime Anomaly then is the game that's really hit the mark for some reason? It's better, but yeah. Yeah, these characters barely popped there. That was something we talked about in Discord, like the day before the trailer went live. We were working on like, hey, changing the contrast of the ground, for example, to make the ground less, or like make the characters pop more, make the ground pop less. There's a lot of stuff that we're still planning on doing with this game. The game is not coming out yet. We still have a bunch of months. We're gonna make it good. We're gonna be participating most likely in Steam Next Fest. We're gonna have a demo coming out earlier. We're going to do what I always say that we're gonna do. We're gonna market the game. We're gonna iterate on the game. We're gonna do playtests for the game. Just maybe don't judge the game this harshly when all you've seen is a 40-second trailer. all I'm asking for. We're using A-star for path finding now as well. We were using nav meshes. The problem is it overloaded the host PC. And that gave the problem that, okay, the host was the only one that didn't have graphical bugs. So you have to kind of cheat. Whereas, okay, for overtime anomaly, all of this was also kind of cheated to a certain degree. But I guess, yeah, it looks more polished because there was just a single asset being used. We're not going to be adding melee focus. Probably there's like special abilities that you can do per character, per class, but probably not. My god, that was a 35-minute non-stop rant about me. I'm terribly sorry to the 200 people watching right now. What can I help you with? What other questions and feedback do you have? I wanted to keep this a short stream. I'm not going to go into too much depth about crazy other stuff. But this was something that, hey, like I said, I wanted to talk about. I want to give you a bit more of my perspective as well of, hey, why did we release that trailer? Favorite color? To be honest, I would pin a comment that's not the final look of the game. That was maybe another good point where Thomas was like, okay, trailer, it's not good. What do we do now? Do we hide it? Do we do whatever with it? Because there's also a big difference. Overtime normally also gets more views, gets better pushed. The YouTube algorithm as well likes this game more as well. We're not taking this offline either. I think that's kind of lame. I don't think you should take off like trailers offline. At the end of the day, what I also told Thomas is that in 2 days from now, the YouTube algorithm will have mainly buried Magical Girl Guardians' announcement and we'll move on from there. We're gonna keep developing this game. We're gonna keep making it better as well. How much post-processing are you using right now? Basically everything that the post-processing has. Like we're doing a lot of stuff. Like we're looking into things like baked lighting as well. It's stuff that, hey, look, we didn't fully understand it. Oh yeah, and the like to dislike ratio used to be 50% when I like woke up. So this is the worst video. Even like our game engine game engine tier list video, which used to be the most disliked video, I think is at like 87% or something. Revolver over, feel free to do so. I think a few people in our Discord have done so as well. Yeah, I think definitely you want to fake trailers as much as possible. It's what I said before of like it's what Among Us VR famously did. It's also now what we've done with Overtime Anomaly. Probably from now on, every single trailer we make, or at least like the early announcement trailers, are gonna be more fake-ish, I guess. Unfortunately, I don't make the rules. So yeah, let me quickly go a bit more through this. But yeah, there's more of a hook. The villain arc is not immediately starting. I still love you guys. You know, it's not like you have one fight with your girlfriend that you immediately break up. Like, we had people, like, cancel their Patreon because of the fact that we made Magical Girl Guardians. They were so disgusted by it. And it's like, there is nothing I can do to, like, win those people over. At some points, like, you kind of just have to cut your losses. Did we prototype the gameplay for Magical Girl Guardians first? Yeah, we did. And Magical Girl Guardians may be an interesting one as well. I actually, and Thomas, you can testify on that, I almost canned this game because of the graphics not looking good enough in the beginning. I think it looks pretty decent already, but we had some, I have some old screenshots of Magical Girl Guardians. Let me pull those up because I've shown them on another stream before. I think you have to also understand where we're coming from with this. Give me 1 second. So I have old screenshots from Magical Girl Guardians. This is what the game used to look like. And this was the point where I was like, Thomas, I think we're going to have to cancel this game. I'm sorry. This was way worse. We did a bunch of work with, for example, retexturing the roads and all of that. We've made some good progress. So trust me when I say we want to keep making progress. And sure, I don't know anything about art right now. Yeah, everything is so bad about this. If you then look back at this, I think there's a massive improvement already. Custom textures in an asset flip game. So yeah, what is the backlash? I'm Mr. D. It's the fact that one of our trailers got 60% liked because it's a penalty and asset flip, even though it's a game we put more time into. Yeah, some people hate anime irrationally as well, definitely. Wait, yeah. Custom textures, did you guys hand paint it? No, we have someone else like help us with the texturing stuff. It's a bunch of Photoshop stuff, and I think some custom brushes, some custom texturing, and then a bunch of other stuff. Like comments like that, the adventure tuna, you could definitely use better art direction. You're not wrong, but it doesn't help because saying that is not gonna give me magical art direction. And that is the problem. Okay, you need to spend money to make money, but we don't have that money to spend. We made a video about how much money we have, and it's not enough. We have used LUTs, Matt. The problem right now is more the inconsistency between all of it. We've got a whole bunch of lists at this point on how are we actually... Yeah, bro, just make better art direction. It's the same of... bro, just add a shader. We didn't asset flip a game as well. I'm Mr. D. So yeah. It's hard when you delegate a lot of times. Yeah. We're gonna make both games. They have different approaches. They have different audiences. I've guessed that Overtime Anomaly just fits. Like, Overtime Anomaly is going to be the kind of game that a Unicycle Pizza Time is gonna be. It's gonna, hopefully at least, launch with a big boom, because that's this style of genre. It's a horror game. And want to have like multiple endings and things like that. Ideally, like you get a Markiplier or you get a Jacksepticeye or whatever to play it, and then sales go skyrocket. They like fly up for like 2-3 days, kind of similar to what we saw here. If we go to the 1 week graph, where this is for Unicycle Pizza Time, it's like it's pretty low, pretty low, pretty low, pretty low. YouTuber covers it. So this was the first YouTuber. Second YouTuber covers it, boom, and then it goes down again. Whereas I believe with Magical Girl Guardians, we can have more consistency and not have to be as trended or like trend focused and all of that. Because yeah, these are nice things as well, but these are very much algorithm driven as well. And we think Magical Girl Guardians can go beyond that. Hi, Shion. So yeah, I think amusing the trailer performed better is the most asset flip. Yeah, indeed, Alessandro. That is the thing that makes me confused as well. It's like, is our audience actually kind of not always correct? Who knows? So yeah. What I'm watching, I said, grown men making magical girl games. Hey, we're also making crippling depression horror games set in like 1980s. I think I'm gonna wrap things up here pretty soon. I just wanted to talk about all of this. I don't think there's much more that needs to be said. I've covered most of the things that I wanted to say. Oh, my OBS just disconnected. Awkward. It's gonna come back. Can you guys still see me? I don't know. My OBS just gives a notification that it died. It came back. Okay, perfect. It's back. Even though it still says... Okay, we're back. Let's go. I'm late. Can we get a summary? South Baco, we announced 2 games yesterday. Overtime Anomaly and Magical Girl Guardians. One of them was an asset flip and was perceived very well because we rushed this trailer out in 10 days from getting the game idea to making the trailer. This one we worked on for 2 months, has a lot more custom code, a lot more everything. People hated it. So we just wanted to talk a bit about that. Keep an open mind on the games, I guess. We're going to be in Discord. You know where to reach us out. Try to use your brain before commenting hateful stuff. It's weird that I have to say these things, but definitely some of the comments also came out of nowhere. And I think that's all I had to say. So I have 212 people now. Where are you guys when I normally do live streams? Hello? Anyways, join our Discord, I guess, if you want to learn like more stuff. And apart from that, thank you all for kind of following on the drum. And I'll see you guys in the next one.